if this, like, I swear to God, if I queue into like 2 more games and it's just like 8 primordials every game, I'm literally just gonna turn my stream off and do something else. I'll wait. I mean, the patch will drop what, tomorrow, right? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I could be doing like YouTube recordings or something. I could do anything right now. I could be playing Duck Game with like the EG staff. But instead I'm playing in this like 5-player 4 primordial meta. That's like, this isn't me like baby raging about like something OP. Like I don't even care. I do think it's overrepresented. It's not even like, if something's OP, it's like, you know, I see 2 people in all my games going it. But if it's like 5 people in every game going like the 4 version, oh yeah. Oh yeah. If it's like 5 people in every game going the full version, like the 4 version instead of the 2 version, it's just like, it just kills diversity. It's like every game becomes the same. That's like, that's not the same as like something being OP. I'm okay seeing like 2 night players in every single one of my games. That's like, that's kind of standard. Like at high levels in anything, you're gonna see the same strategies a lot. But if it's like 5 people in every single game on the same variant of the same build, it's just like every game is the same. You went primordial yourself, forehead? I had like a pair of level 1s. And one of them was part of my build. It's true though, I did get primordial myself.
I'm ready. There's no hiding from me.
Your mic sounds awesome. Wait, does it actually? Is it like good now? You need scale to play Assassin's IMO? You might be right. You might be right. I could see like new Assassins being like, now that Primordial buff is better, I could easily see the front line being like, the level 8 is like the Tide Hunter level 2 and Tiny level 2 front line. Vit booster over Claymore. I'm not locking for double. Am I locking for double Razor? God damn it. The casual double lock round 1. I don't know, man. Sometimes you just flop a boat. What am I supposed to do? Not lock for 2 Razors? Of course I'm gonna lock for 2 Razors. The thing is, until I actually put another Primordial on the board, it won't show this alliance and people won't be judging me. So if I just run like 5 Razors, nobody will actually see that I have a Primordial board. Earlier we had Druid, Mech kinda, and Warriors early game. Now it's like Tiny Razors exclusively. Yeah, something like that. I mean, Knights early game were also good before. Yuck. Claymore. Woof. This is bad items, guys. This is really bad items. Vit Booster, Blightstone, Claymore are all like acceptable, but I don't even have like a single good item. You got like 3 pretty dumpster things. We have no Heartless to pair. We've got basically nothing to do on round 4. Oof. What are we doing here? I think I need more frontline. God, Razor's so tanky. Something like this. This guy went for the level 4 level up. Oh no, I thought I saw 4 heroes. He's got 2 primordials. I wonder what our win rate is here. I mean, we have a level 2. If our Drow got disarmed like once or twice, the fact that our level 2 is ranged gives us like a good edge here though. So we can buy everything. Sorry, we can buy everything. Are there counters to primordials? I mean, there's certain things that do better against them than other things. Like in a primordial meta, going something like Assassins is just a bad idea. Like you want to do like non like attack based DPS and preferably non melee DPS, right? There's going to be like the 2 things that are going to do the most. We can't really put in another hero for like huge value. I think I don't really like Drow's impact in the late game, so I'll just put in this anti-mage instead. I think this tends to do more for me. I think I'd like to do this. This formation is going to work better for us. We're kind of like right now we're flexible to a lot of things. We have 2 level 2s that don't give us any direction at all. Batrider is like Knights or Knights Trolls, and Drow Rangers like doesn't really work with that. If we get like an Abaddon early, there could be like some link between these two, but right now there's kind of nothing to play for. I sold the Drow. If it's like a 4-of by round 5 is good timing to try to go for a 3-star, but I don't really like Drow 3-star in this meta. It feels like Hunters don't really scale very well into the late game. There's not too much I can really do with that. Well, we got the other Primordial to pair. Primordial pair is decent. We can, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, you know. So we can do something like this. Primordial frontline is just going to give us what we want. We definitely want Morphling to have the Vip booster, I think, because I think he's going to have some problems like getting away. We can just have our anti-mage kind of coming in. I guess like Terrorblade. Do I like Terrorblade just for like Demon? I could just put Terrorblade in. I don't know. I feel like Terrorblade is... It's a little squishy. But it's probably just like... I mean, better than just something like a standalone anti-mage, not really doing anything special. So we can pair the Ogres, hopefully get some kind of upgrade going on. I think I'm going to skip Bloodseeker though. There's no reason for it. Things that attack slow but really hard are good against Primordials. Mitigus is some timer. Terrorblade is pretty legit because it one-shots. Yeah, sure. It's going to be a little bit better. I'd still prefer to run comps or heroes that don't really rely on auto attacks as much. So stuff like mages or stuff that's more like spell-based, like warlocks, I feel would be kind of my preferred path forward. Here's a Chaos Knight, which is pretty solid. I really like Chaos Knight just kind of like completing demons and linking with Batrider. So we can do something like this here, where we have formation kind of like this. Everything clustered around Drow, Batrider, and Chaos Knight linked together. Chaos Knight now with the Vip booster, because it just wants to make more use out of the Night Shield. We can sell Terrorblade up to the interest points, and of course, to get to this interest point, we'll sell the 3 unpaired things on our bench up to 10. So now we've got some things to pick up here, just because there's no reason not to. And we keep the Razors and the Ogres paired. Just playing for your pairs is going to be really important in these early game spots. Let's have a Primordial check. It's not so bad. See, this is like fine. Like, I don't know, dude. There's a couple games that are just kind of ridiculous. This is fine though. Like, this is an amount someone like can complain about, but I don't know. I'm not gonna complain about this. Drow is so shit ATM. Passive equals increase your chance of being disarmed by 20%. I wouldn't say that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have to be hitting this interest point for sure. Knight's Path looks pretty good. It's like, it's not like ridiculously contested. We're on a good start for it. I don't really like what else I have, so we can just do this. Additional Batrider is going to be a good thing to scoop up as well. This guy just smashes me. So Arc Warden level 2 just has really good stats. This guy's got level 2s of everything. This guy's just like, his board is so much better than mine. We just like haven't run into one of his boards or like the top board yet, which is the only reason we're winning. So I see a lot of people pre-leveling on 8. I've basically decided it's always incorrect to do this. Like level on 9, not on 8. It just makes your odds worse. You don't want to be finding epics, you want to be finding commons right now. Okay, so we want to hit this interest point. I think we want to take this level up. We do have a Batrider level 1 to put in. A Batrider level 1 is a decent upgrade to the board. We could put in another Primordial as well. We're definitely going to level up and sell PA to this interest point, and then we have to decide whether it's like a Batrider, an additional Batrider, or a Razor. I feel like it has to be the Batrider. Like, Batriders combine into like too efficient of a combo, I think. We're going to put the Claymore on Batrider. It's getting more attack speed because it's next to Drow. And the Claymore on a 1-star is actually going to help it charge mana. I'm using these Batriders together as kind of my win condition of this comp. Like, my Primordials are stalling and my Batriders are just like stacking Napalm. The way mana gain mechanics work in the game is that, you know, up to a certain point, Claymore can increase your mana gained when you're dealing less than 75 damage per attack. So it's a little bit more efficient to put Claymore on the 1-star Batrider because he's actually gaining more mana from that damage. Abaddon. Yeah, we can go for the Abaddon here. I was thinking about it before. It's something that I didn't really want to put in just because it would have cost me this interest points, but it's worth picking up here. We're not pairing anti-mage anymore, but we might as well take it. So the Abaddon would be in over the Batrider here. I don't think that would have helped me win this fight, but it's something that's, you know, obviously if our only concern is winning the fight, it's just an improvement to do something like that. This looks fine. Should have no problems beating these creeps, I think. I mean, my board isn't super good. I don't think we lose, even if we don't get a single disarm. I think we're good. Is Primordial nerf gone in yet? Tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow, right? They said early this week, so that kind of has to be tomorrow, right? Like, I don't know if they explicitly confirmed tomorrow. But for me, when you say early next week, to me that means Tuesday or maybe sometimes Monday. This is a bit of a weird one. I still don't know how much I value Soul Sucking Siphon. I don't like Blink Dagger that much at night, but it's still a fairly powerful ability. It's still a little bit hard to escape how solid this ability is in general, so we're just going to sell up to this interest point. Got the Blink Dagger on something that wants this mana gain. I think that might just be Batrider, honestly. I could do something like this.
I'm coming for you.
Like the immediate mana gain on Batrider into like the super immediate napalm is not bad. And if I put him here, he'll blink to the left side, which is like kind of closer to my knight, so he'll be able to regain knight formation as well. I'm not necessarily sure if this is super worth it, but Blink Dagger is kind of better long term. It's like the investment item. Morphling Blink is good. It feels kind of bad. I'd really rather him tanking. Morphling's like a tank, and I don't want Blink to be on a tank. However, it's possible Morphling might need Vitality Booster to be able to go off. Like, if it gets blown up, it's really bad. Would you consider Luna to be the most important knight in a knight comp? Sometimes? I guess I wouldn't say so. It depends on the specifics of the comp. Oh, what are we doing here? It looks like we can't hit this interest point. I think there's basically no way to. I don't want to sell out of this like Abaddon pair, I think. That's fine, we'll just keep things here. So the reason Batrider is here is because it wants to blink to the left side to be closer to our knights. So here it'll blink here, and it'll probably walk one step to the CK, and then continue attacking. Like that. And this regains the knight shield for it, which is probably just worth it. I'm kind of getting plowed, though. This guy with a level 2 Arc Warden early is just like completely smashing. Kind of sucks. I really like Luna personally. I personally think I really favor her. Like Luna 3-star, CK 3-star, and DK 2-star are all really important. I would say Luna 3-star is kind of the most important, but it's also, it's not always going to get there, whereas something like a DK 2-star is kind of pretty reliable. But I'm a big fan of Luna. I don't think there's really anything more we can do here. I don't think there's like any specific like counter positioning we can try to approach. I don't know, the Primordial meta does kind of feel a lot like, you know, the kind of like if you can't beat him, join him. It does feel like unless you get a bunch of 2-stars, they can just kind of overrun you. Like, we're just losing every board to like these Eidolons and Primordials. It's not even really close. And our board is like, it's not super good. Like, we haven't completed too much here, but it's not like that bad. I don't know. It looks like this meta is just causing like some really weird patterns in play to happen. I don't know. There's kind of two different approaches right now, which is like one is like the just like adapt forehead kind of meme. And that I mean to some degree that is like true. Like we can kind of mix up how exactly we're approaching the game, because like you have people like just going more aggressive and like more like focused on primordials. I just like I don't know. I don't know if that's actually going to be the way to play like literally even tomorrow, because like everything is so warped out of perspective right now. Like you see here the high player, like these early rolls shouldn't really be good, but if you're like the first person to get like an Arc Warden 2-star, you just win off of it, right? And if you have like 2 stars of all your primordials, it feels like it just snowballs you too hard. Like the thing about early rolls in this meta right now is basically, since everybody is going for the same thing, you kind of have to beat them to it. Should be pretty good against wolves here though. Dark Warden's good now. It's just like primordials are good in general. He got buffed in a really like major way. Like his stats got a lot better. And the primordial buff, just like being able to disable ranged units, is a really big buff for it as well. The meta also, primordials also really capitalize on the meta accelerating. Like taking extra damage early is kind of important, because like early mid-game strategies can just like knock you out a lot more aggressively, right? So they can just do a lot more with that kind of thing. I can take the pre-level here. I'm not actually 100% sure if I favor the pre-level here. We'll see. I do like this though. So we've got... This is fine. Necrophos should fit in over Drow, I think. Would give me... we can actually go 4 Heartless, though, because we have Fall from Grace. Necrophos over, like, one of the Batriders gives us 4 Heartless, which is solid. Looks good. We're on, like, a good Night Path here. We're on, like, track for stabilization. Like, this guy's early rolls have, like, paid off, because he's obviously... He hit what he wanted and he streaked and he high rolled. But these two guys' like, early rolls have kind of, like, crushed them. Like, I'm in such a better position than this 5th place guy. It's kind of ridiculous. We're just in the same health range, but we have, like, 30 more net worth than him, which is crazy. So it's kind of like... I mean, if you look at what these 4 players did, they all kind of aggressively rolled, right? And this guy hit what he was looking for, so he's, like, top place. And these 2 guys didn't hit what they were looking for, so they're, like, basically losing the game. And that's the thing about early rolling. Like, in certain metas, it can possibly be, like, some kind of necessity, but it can also really screw you over, and it just comes down to what you get from it, right? You can't even really control that very well. So I think I really like the Necrophos inclusion to this board. I think I can get out of Abaddon, actually, as well. I don't think it's really doing that much. So this looks like a pretty powerful board all of a sudden. I think we can just rely on upgrading the Knights and not really worrying about anything else. Top guy is like pairing Knights, but he's kind of going to get off them soon. I don't think this is a board that wants to go deeper into Knights. Maybe like 4 Knights at most. But he's not like, super deep in Knights, and this guy just looks like he's getting knocked out. He's deep in Knights though. He's got like Dragon Sword and Fall from Grace. Like, he knows what comp he wants to be in. I mean, we're on a really good stabilization path. Like, hitting the Fall from Grace was a really big deal, because we're already on the build that's good for it. Fall from Grace is like a Knight support item. You missed out on an Aegis? Yeah. The Aegis is like... is a literally useless item.
Silver's finest at your command.
So it looks like we've hit some really good stabilizations. We hit like the Abaddon upgrade. Now we're on like a couple outs, like these 2 vague outs. I do actually think our board is probably upgraded enough that I think I want to chill. We're only on 2 outs now. It's just like Chaos Knight and Luna. I'd like to hit one of these, but because my knights on board are already 2-star, I don't think I really need to be hitting one of those. It's kind of okay not to be. This looks good. I think like my health is a little bit low, but my board is very strong right now to not really need to be like doing anything weird here. I want to like mention one thing about this this balance patch. There's this counter argument that people are making. There's people in multiple camps, right? There's like the camp of complainers, which are the meta complainers, and then there's the camp of the people that are like kind of sort of contrarian, which is like the idea of there's actually a few different schools of thought here. But the most prevalent one is like at top level, primordials aren't even like that good. It's like, you know, you can beat primordials if you do X, Y, and Z, right? And I think like the most important thing to understand about the latter arguments is it doesn't actually even properly piggyback off of the former, which is to say, like in reality, it doesn't really matter that like they have problems and can't be like beaten and are unreliable, because like I said, it's a really unreliable strategy. Like you have people at the top performing very well with it, but if you try to go for it and you lose, you will just like bomb out like this guy is bombing out, right? It's super unreliable, but at the same time, it kind of creates a very, very convergent meta. Convergent is kind of another way of saying like sort of anti-fun, I guess, because it creates like game paths that are very, very similar to one another. It's an early DK. So this is a pretty good explanation of like what I do between like rounds 15 through 20. My pivot from like mid-game economy into like late-game stabilization is really important. So we take the high economy level on 16 instead of leveling to 7 on 17. So we level on 16, we spend 17 and 18 rolling to stabilize, and then we spend, well, in this case we didn't roll on 18. We rolled on 16 and 17, and then we stabilized, we just like econned on 18 and 19. Because you want to be able to go to level 8 on 21. 8 on 21 is very, very important. And once you get 8 on 21, then you're kind of like on your like full stabilization path, right? Obviously, we're not in anti-mage. I don't even know why I bothered to buy that. Just pointless. So I wouldn't mind something like 6 Knights. I honestly think 6 Knights might be a bit of a bait. It's an easy relic. Final Flash isn't bad, but I think it doesn't fit too much into what we want to do. Whereas a relic is just gonna do so much for us here. Relic makes us more dependent on something like Luna than ever. So we try to complete that. I don't really want to be going for these upgrades though. I can keep the options open for now. How is it different from people spamming knights previously? I think it's different in terms of like degree to which it's happening right now. Because they're so powerful early, as opposed to knights, it's mostly about their early game. The thing is, when you have the early game dominated, when you have 2 1 costs and 1 2 costs, and all of them are powerful, you have a situation where people feel like they're forced into that path more often. Whereas with knights, it's just Batrider and basically Chaos Knight. Luna kind of sucks unless you upgrade her, and she's not 1 cost. So if you look at knights, yeah, I mean, you got people forced onto Knight Path if they're on those, right? But it's not something that happened like quite as commonly and not to the same degree. Like you weren't seeing like 5 or 6 Knight players in like every single game. It's something that happened like sometimes, but it wasn't exactly the same, right? That's a cute thing. Okay, sure. Didn't really expect that on 22, but whatever. He should be in Drought Aura so he doesn't have to move. So like I said, we've hit stabilization. Like, we're playing for economy like a normal human being. We're one of the 2 players in this entire lobby playing for economy. I think a lot of it is perception as well, which is like, it's kind of weird. I think people kind of overrate this primordial meme. It's not that it's weak, it's just that like more people go for it than should, and it leads to weird situations where you see it just like flooding too many slots and too many lobbies, I think. So I'd like to fit in an alchemist here. That's a hard thing to fit in. Especially with Drow's aura being just like really solid. Now that we have like the disruptor upgraded. So the Witch Doctor is kind of an important part of this board, because my Batrider is such a big chonker. I really do feel like I want the troll aura to be on him. And this kind of forces me into a situation where I can use a 4th Warlock. I don't really like 6 Knights that much anymore. Them getting nerfed by that like 5% was actually a bit of a big deal. At this point, can you give up on Luna and use another DPS? Oh no, hell no. Are you kidding? I've got a Relic. I've got a Relic and a Drow. I'm so deep in Luna coin, it's not even funny. We'll level up. So Relic is 60 attack damage. It's 60 damage per attack, and on Luna it is like 180 damage per attack. She literally ass pulls like 120 damage per attack for no reason. I mean, I don't need Luna level 3 for her to be good. Might need to drop CK then? Possibly. I mean, right now I'm on a good economy. My streak is ending naturally. I'm about to hit like 25, and 25 is where we're going to level 9, right? So because our streak is about to end, I'm kind of like okay if we do just like lose this one fight. Like, I'm not going to be rolling down here. Our Batrider being found kind of carries us a bit. This lowers our roll value because one of our big outs has just erased itself from our out pool, which means we're taking like an aggressive level 9 on 25. We have the best economy in the game by, I mean, a pretty big margin. Like, this guy is at 20 gold lower than me. Best economy in the game by a pretty wide margin, so we can chill. I don't really need this puck. I'm not sure if I'm going to want Lich, though. Probably an improvement to Drow at any rate. I think we can get out of Drow. I'm not even sure if that's true. I kind of fucking hate Lich, actually. I don't know, it's okay. So this is 25, it's just Whirly Birds. I don't think Whirly Birds give me a problem. But we can level to 9 and roll it down here. Lich is better than to give him credit? I think that's probably true. Omni Knight 3-star could easily be happening. If I get Lich 2-star, you know, I'll easily be happy to run a Lich 2-star. We're already in Fall from Grace, so it means like higher tiers of Undead are just kind of like easier to play for. There's a second DK, and I'm a lot more likely to run this than some like a Luna. And I think like we're approaching endgame scenario, so it's just good to be rolling down here. Am I actually losing this? It's an Alchemist as well. The Alchemist upgrade is really sweet. I think I will just be taking this. Whirly Birds are weird. I wonder what exactly happened here. Like, we have no bouncing and they just kind of catch us out. They have like AoE. I need to reposition here because we shouldn't be losing that. Here's Maelstrom, which is pretty solid. It's a good item for a 3-star bat. We can upgrade the Alchemist here. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit this in exactly, but it should be fit in here. Maelstrom's on Batrider is really good because he's a really good carrier for something that deals damage scaling off of Napalm. He's kind of unique in that way. Troll Warlord gives us a 3rd Troll, which we're probably going to have to fit in somewhere. Might go down from 4 Knights at this point. I have to go down from 4 Knights, basically. I need to figure out my board a bit, for sure. Things are a little wonky here. Nothing looks super great. I do like the blink on Lich. He's squishy, but it should help him cast a spell like fast enough to be relevant. He's disarmed here with like 90 mana. Okay, there we go. we're happy enough about how that turned out. And I think this is like, overall, this is a pretty good example of how you want to play out a game, right? It's like, for the most part, this has been pretty standard. You econ early, do the stabilize on 15 through 20, roll down a bit more aggressively on 20 through 25, hit like, you know, because we had high econ, we can go for the aggressive level 9 on 25. And then at this point, we're like, after 25, like the game is closing out. The max health in the lobby is just getting really low. People are burning down all their shit. And we're just looking to kind of get out of everything. We're just looking to just sell everything. So here we've got the relic carrier on the troll level 1. Looks good. I don't think we need anything else there. I'd want the VIP booster to be on someone who's like, you can kind of get the most value on, I think, at this point in the game. So there's a few different logics with like VIP booster. It's kind of weird. Typically I like it on someone who I'm kind of at risk of dying before getting their ability off, but there's nobody here who's like that. And I think it's more important that Troll has this damage item. I could see an argument for him just being more survivable instead of having a damage item. But I think if it's level 1 and he has no damage item, that's kind of a weak argument. Wouldn't mind a Shadow Shaman here. I think we just have to roll it down the rest of the way, unfortunately. I mean, our board's like no longer top board. I guess I could just run Shadow Shaman over like an Omni Knight, right? I think the additional attack speed on everything is just going to be helpful enough. Seems pretty good to swap that out. I don't think I'm really losing anything from this. And I don't think I'm on like a level 3 path here, so we can just get out of knights. It's kind of awkward. I kind of expected to find more knights than this, honestly, but that's fine. We can put this on him. Maybe he'll get his spell off. This VIP booster might make the difference of like getting chicken off or not, so it's kind of useful on him. Just like the level 1 heroes, VIP booster is really good on level 1s that just want to just make sure they can get a bit more mana, maybe like survive through a stun, increase the likelihood of getting a spell off. Because I didn't have it on Shadow Shaman before, putting it on a unit that has an EHP multiplier could be fairly valuable. Lose Heartless. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Troll is better than Heartless, though. And Omni Knight's not giving Knight. There's nothing else I can take it off that doesn't lose Heartless, right? I mean, there's no way to have 4 Troll, 4 Heartless, and 4 Warlock with this many units, right? We're just planning to go to 10. I'm cool going to 10. I'll go to 10 on 31. So we can look at positioning boards here. This guy's assassins and this guy's clumped up on the right side. So we can do something like this where we have like, you know, our assassin catcher. I wouldn't mind Bat being something like an assassin catcher. We should have Troll like kind of over here. Right now he's a little bit vulnerable to the assassins just because he's kind of like tied for this distance. I got a little lucky here with nothing going on him at the start, but it looked like Slark jumped in here anyway, which is bad. That's bad positioning on my part. The best way, you want to do exploitative positioning, basically. It's like so you see 2 opponents and you see a weakness there, right? So suddenly it's like, between these 2 opponents, which is this guy in this corner, and this guy on assassins, where should Troll be for him to be safe? And the answer is like here, right? He wants to be, because oddly enough, this is like the safest spot for him, because against this guy, you know, nothing's going to go on him. And against the assassin guy, he's kind of like in the front, so he's safe against the assassins, right? Lich wants to probably be here. We just want to make sure that the assassins are kind of jumping our heroes that are already like naturally tanky enough to be okay with it. I don't think that I can have like this in back as well. And of course against the creep round, I don't want Troll in front. Still not sure exactly how to beat dinos. What do you keep DK? There's a good chance he's gonna be my 10th unit. Because we're going to level 10 here because I just want to get like 4 Heartless again. And there's a good chance that's gonna be DK. We'll see. We can roll down a couple times here. It's not Crystal Maiden. Fairly useless stuff. Yeah, I mean, we just want like 4 Heartless, basically. I don't think anything else is going to make too much of a difference. I'm not going to want something crazy. Pipe just looks good, right? Pipe kind of causes us to gather up. Not 100% certain on this. Still need to figure out positioning. I don't want to... Pipe makes my positioning kind of weird. Because I want to, like, cluster up somewhat. But I do want Troll to be, like, in the Pipe aura for sure. It's pretty important for my comp that Troll stays alive. He could just be the Pipe carrier, but I think Relic is a little too good for him. Enigma over Alchemist. I was thinking around Enigma. I mean, I wouldn't run him over Alchemist. I think Enigma is just too weak. I think 3 Shaman is like basically not doing anything at all. Okay, so this is fun. And like I said, now that we're heads up, we can start doing some explorative positioning. So we can put Troll where he's just kind of like most likely to be safest. And we can just like swap our back line with our fronts because of course his assassins will be jumping in back. So our Troll can't get going on except for maybe by like TA or Slark, I think here. But Lich just blinked in and absorbed for ulti there. That was like perfect, by the way. Lich like blinking in, dying like instantly, but getting his ult off before he dies is like the perfect fight. Oddly enough, if that doesn't happen on his board, he might actually win. No, we're good. So he's out. So like I said, I think this is a pretty clean game. I think it's a pretty good example all around of just like timings of different things you want to be doing. I think it's a pretty decent example of why these like early roll memes don't pay off. That's personally my opinion. We saw the 4 top players. If you're paying attention, if you were looking at like rounds like 15, I didn't really talk about this a lot, but on like round 15 there, you saw people were rolling really aggressively. I was like the only one playing for economy. No, I wasn't. But like the top 4 players at the start were all just doing aggressive rolls. One of them hit the nuts with the level 2 Arc Warden. He streaked until like round 16 or something, right? And 2 of them just like whiffed and basically just blew themselves out of the game immediately. But even the one that hit the nuts still, what did he finish in? This was the one who finished in 2nd place, I think? I think it's this guy, right? Which isn't like, or sorry, 3rd place. I meant second, yeah, 3rd place. Which is kind of weird. Why does it say place down here? Wait, what the heck? What is this? I don't understand this scoreboard. Anyway, basically, I do think that like playing, it's still kind of an economy game. It's still something that you need to play for. I think like definitely it's possible that if you like hit the nuts, you could like hit yourself into like a really good streak. But I think the risk that you incur to yourself is probably just not worth it. The pacing of the game has changed a bit, but it's mostly just like maybe a couple spots where you take some aggressive rolls, maybe a couple like earlier stabilization things. But for the most part, like, the pacing of the game is still relatively the same.